Hello, hello, hello. It's Friday night, and I am here on the screen this time rather than face to face with one of my friends. Oh my goodness. This was, let me try and turn off this. I hate StreamYard for this reason. You just have it open. Let me see if this works. But anyway, Alpa, I'm here with one of my besties. It's Friday night. It's been a long week for us. But I am so happy to have you here. And I'm so happy to have people in the chat already because I'm seeing Harry, Spirit Raw. Hi, Spirit. Hi, April and Jay. And Andrea, thank you so much for coming back nice and early and meeting us. How you doing, Alpa? How's everything in your world? Because it's been quite a week for you, hasn't it?
It certainly has, but this is the nature of the beast and the survival of the fittest. Because Catherine, you and I have been on this journey for the last 3 years, and we've become very good friends. And this week, as you know, it's been pretty much testing for me because oh look, Kenzo's got something to say. He wants to join in on the conversation. My YouTube channel got completely wiped out, so my turn. And this morning when I woke up, I had done a show with Mel K, and I was just like, oh my God, this is something that, we've built up for so long and it's got taken off. But you know what? I'm absolutely okay. And it's just a testament to your strength, because so many people have been taken off. I mean, Catherine, it happened to you right at the start, and so you know exactly how I feel. But that was kind of my main channel, my main voice, because they wiped me out of Facebook at the start when what happened to you with your YouTube. And I thought, okay, this is I went off the scene for a while. I wasn't doing that many shows, and the moment I decided and said, right, I'm back out there, I want to speak to like-minded individuals and continue this fight, boom, this morning I get a notification saying bye-bye. So it is what it is, Catherine.
I really empathize with you because I know what it's like back in, I've completely lost track of time, but I think it was the one of the first curls of 2020. And obviously YouTube was new to me and I was so very much learning on the hoof. And then I had about 40,000 subscribers and it got wiped overnight with no warning. And the thing was, I had years of all my animal content, the sort of pre-talking up content on there that I didn't have backups for. And it's a great lesson in learning to let go, isn't it? Because we share so much on these shows, but equally, for me, it's a really good lesson because so many of us were sort of saying, well, Elon Musk has taken over Twitter and the head of YouTube has gone. But I think it's so easy to take eye off a ball. And I'm not saying, I saw your show with Mel K, and, she's been one of the ones that has been hit hardest by the censorship right from the go. And it's really interesting. I was saying to you, there's no method in the madness, is there? Because there's some channels that stay up that are sharing all sorts of information. I've had 2 videos taken down from that I did last summer that have just been taken down, and I've got a slap on the wrist for. So I think we could waste a lot of time trying to work out the whys and the hows, but actually, I love the fact that you're saying it is what it is. Let's just take this as a message that I'm meant to be, diverting somewhere else and moving on in a different way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Every challenge is lined with a silver lining. I truly believe that, because while there's been so much chaos that's been going on in the collective, not just ourselves personally, we can actually observe and see that if we take things personally, we're going to become victims of our situations. And it's very easy to fall into that trap. And I myself, I've been wallowing away in self-pity, but I allow myself to have a pity party for about 30 minutes. I was saying this to April on the phone the other day, that, we can drive ourselves to a place of complete despair and become victims of our circumstances, Catherine. But there's a message in this that a lot of the truthers, should I say, or truth seekers, I prefer to say, because this journey is about seeking the truth within, the journey that you're going through within, and then observing what's going on around us and doing our bit and seeing which lane that we're meant to stay on, and the path that we're supposed to be following, rather than getting caught up in the egocentricity of this movement, which has presented itself in so many different forms. So it's taught me so many lessons, because yes, you were the first person I phoned this morning, and I was a bit weepy, but then I sort of took myself out of it, because I thought this is not the end of the world. Yeah. And there's so much more crazier things. Like a YouTube channel's gone down, fine, life goes on. But we get kind of stuck in that ego. Oh, it was my main channel. Oh, I had my biggest following over there. But it's okay to feel that, because, that's where I want to get my message across. That's where I've got my history of this movement, where people have shown love, reciprocity, and you have those memories. But again, what is all of that? We call it Maya in Sanskrit, right? Attachment to things that just don't really necessarily evolve you, but you learn and you do. And one of the main things I think this movement, you've labeled the show Challenges and Solutions, is to learn discernment in its entirety, okay, and not get swept up by any chaos. Does that make sense?
Oh, completely. And I think, we are all human. Well, not everyone.
Let's just
I thought it's Friday evening. Is it too early? 5:30 for glass one, and I decided it probably was. So let's take that back. A lot of us are human, and I think the thing is allowing ourselves to feel this. And I really agree that a problem shared is a problem halved, and that's what friends are for. And sometimes we've talked a lot about emotions. Trapped emotions will manifest themselves in physical issues, and letting it out and letting yourself feel is really important. And this isn't a competition in trauma. This isn't a competition in grief. This isn't a competition of what we're going through. We know there's really horrendous things happening in the world, but also when things hit us personally, of course, if we're empathetic people, if we're emotional, if we're pouring our heart and soul into what we're doing, we're going to be affected by things. So I think that's such an important point. There is such a thing as positive, toxic positivity, where we're not allowing people to feel, and we can feel it all. But equally, I think, as you said, it shows you over the mark. With your show with Mel, you were very over the mark. Mel's always over the mark. And she's been a dear friend of ours for the last 3 years. And I think this is one of the things that it's shown is throughout all these different challenges, it's really important. What we've learned is our intuition, our tuning in is getting stronger and stronger and stronger about, who we want to be sharing our time with, who we're listening to, how we're showing up day to day.
Yeah, there's something always... there's a message that's always being told to you with any challenge that you have, Catherine, that what is essentially my journey in this, and what am I supposed to be learning from this situation? And sometimes it's not easy, because you can very easily quickly fall into that self-pity. But within this work, we understand it's a spiritual war, Catherine. And if we embrace the things that are happening at grassroots level, and we can talk about the spiritual side of things, but not truly get it, then there's this disparity, there's this disconnect. So when you sort of learn to synthesize this polarity between, look, there's the psychological war, the spiritual war, and the information war. And then you're kind of getting what we hear a lot of people saying in this movement, attacked, spiritually attacked, and all of that. It's learning the key and embracing the darkness and the light to be in that state of balance. So not rejecting it because we're then saying it doesn't exist, right? But it's learning to get your power back in spite of all adversity and anything that gets thrown to you. It's how you gracefully conduct yourself in those situations, but not rejecting self. That's the main thing, not rejecting yourself in the process.
Yeah, Hi, Health Junkie. I'm not sure whether you're saying you haven't been on YouTube much or I haven't. I've been on loads. I'm tired. But yeah, it's all been really good. And I think this is one of the things that is lovely. And I can see, who was it who's saying there, Harry in the chat, you know, don't let your triggers control you. This is what's so key. And this to me is absolute crux of spiritual development, is in terms of having an awareness and using those triggers as a point to saying, oh, how fantastic, this is where my work is, this is where I still need to work, because we all know we've got completely different triggers, and that's just the universe giving us a nudge and saying, right, you're ready to work on this one next. And when we take it, you know, you said right at the start of this conversation about not taking anything personally. I did a lovely sort of series with Jamie Soleil and Bryce on the 4 agreements, and one of those by Don Miguel Ruiz. And, you know, they are it's such wisdom in these things about not taking things personally. And it's not easy to do. And I think one of the things we can see is when our resilience drops physically and emotionally and spiritually, then it's much harder not to take things for personally and not to put these lessons we've learned along the way into practice. So I know you've been working really, really hard recently on your physical health, on your emotional health, your spiritual health, and bringing it all in together. And one of the best forms of medicine, and in terms of what I'm doing when the going gets tough, is to pour yourself and your talents into something that's really helping others. And that's something you've very much been doing recently, isn't it, Alpa?
Yeah, I mean, it's turning pain into purpose, turning your curiosity into purpose. And this journey has led me onto a path that I could never have imagined. So yes, there have been the challenges, but of course, if people have been following my journey from day one, it was around 6 months into the movement that I was just being hit with setback after setback. And I say physically and in terms of my health. I didn't know what was going on. I was in the corporate arena and I was used to working in a very male-dominated environment. I was in the financial services, and the whole energetics of the fields that I was working in is completely different. So we get into this movement and you're like, oh my God, my career's literally changed direction because I got taken off the network that I was working with as a broker. And suddenly it kind of didn't hit me, but I thought, all right, this too shall pass, and it's going to lead me onto a journey. Backtrack 11 years ago, when I noticed some slightly different and quirky behaviors of my nephew, I became fascinated with the subject of autism. A friend of mine said, I think he could sit on the spectrum. So I spoke to my family and I said, look, there could be a possibility. And I was, oh God, you're just weird. You just look too deep into everything. He's just like that. He's just a kid. It's just a phase. And I started noticing all his intricate behavior and obsession with fixated subjects. So for example, the wheel on the bus. We thought he loved the song, but he was just obsessed with the wheel of the bus. Then it was the letter W. Then it was just spiders. And it was this obsessive characteristic of his that nobody was noticing except myself. So it took me on the path to myself being obsessed with the subject of autism and being rejected everywhere in my family. And fast forward to last year, he got officially diagnosed as sitting on the spectrum. So when I started this movement, Catherine, and the shows that we've done, and I thought, right, what am I going to do for work? I just trusted God and said, right, well, I'm going to do my shows and see where this leads me. So crisis sometimes turns into a blessing, if not always. The kind of crisis that you have, and you have implicit faith in yourself and trust in God that this is leading me. Doesn't matter how bad it feels at the time and how chaotic. So in 2021, when I came across Donald and Barbara, they had a solution, shall I say, or a way forward for me to pursue wanting to help the autistic community. I always kept saying, I really want to, delve deeper into this. I want to work within these communities. I want to volunteer in these groups and these fraternities. God, please show me a way where I can help. Little did I know that it would take me to Ari. My nephew's called Ari. And this couple were like, yep, we have a product, which is a divine product made from botanical herbs and based on the principles of Ayurveda, where it's just an oil that detoxes heavy metals from the brain, rubbed on the feet. And it's an ancient practice, dates back millions of years. And here I am with my own brand, Ari, helping autistic children. So the journey has taken me, even though we've had our trials and tribulations, it pushed me and ushered me into something that I would never, Catherine, never have thought that I would be doing in the way that I'm doing it.
Yeah, I love it. And it's been a very similar journey for me. I mean, I've been a holistic therapist for a long while, and I've had lots of corporate careers as well. I have quite a low boredom threshold, so if it gets too easy, I like to move on. But the natural remedies are where my heart really lies, about really, with everything that we've been learning over the last few years, it can be really, really overwhelming for people. It can be overwhelming on a personal level. And then if you've got children or elderly relatives or animals to look after, it can be even more overwhelming. And I'm seeing some lovely comments in the chat about a lot of people who've spent their lives looking after others. And at the end of the day, most of us humans, well, certainly the ones who are watching shows like this, they just want to help. They want to make the world a better place for everyone and every species in it. And that's why you and I are so drawn to really putting a lot of our passion now into areas where we can really help people and come up with solutions, because absolutely we do need to keep an awareness, in my opinion, and everyone can do this and to a level that suits them. You've got to listen to yourself and do what's right for you, and we'll be very individual on that, in terms of, you don't know what solutions to reach for if you don't know what challenges are being thrown at you. But once you know what challenges are being thrown at you, it can be very easy to get overwhelmed with, my goodness, with a feeling of hopelessness. But the beauty is there's so many of these solutions out there, and the results are amazing. And I think lots of us have really realized that we cannot rely on the pharmaceutical industry. Absolutely. We won't say too much on here, but taking the power back to ourselves and to get these wonderful vessels that we're in this lifetime to start working properly is one of the greatest gifts that we can give people.
100%. And if you watch that show with Mel K, what was the key message that she was saying? We, the people, need to take our power back. So we're, shining our light, knowing our own truth, and finding our own way. That's kind of my motto on all my social media. It's like, shine your light in the way that you're meant to. Look, you and I single-handedly are not going to save the world. I really wish we could. And sometimes when we embarked on this journey, we had this kind of hero complex where we thought, oh my God, I'm going to do everything I can to save those children. And, we came in with great intentions, but then it embarks us on a journey that we could never have imagined. So you thought you were going to, have your life leading a particular way. But would you have, Catherine, ever imagined that you would have been doing YouTube videos, talking about what you talk about and providing solutions for people in the way that you're doing it right now? No. Cast our mind back to 3 years ago. I thought I was going to be this big broker and had my business in Mayfair, and I was doing really well initially. And here I am doing YouTube videos about something completely different in a different fraternity. And I am very, very grateful for it, because it feels purposeful. And, we all have gone through phases in this movement. But like I said, those phases have led us to the most beautiful journey. And that's finding ourselves in it and doing things that are helping people for the good, because we've been lied to about so many things. And why not? This is our opportunity to do what we can in our own way, build those communities, help people with our skills in the way, and the people that it resonates with, it will resonate. And it's not going to resonate with everyone, and that's absolutely okay. No?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I have, over the last 20 years, I've just been constantly blown away. I mean, my husband laughs at me because I'm constantly saying, you'll never guess what, you'll never guess what. You know, and he's like, when are you going to realize that this is normal? Because we've been told that miracles don't happen. You know, we've been told that certain things are incurable. We've been told that, you know, the aging process that we go through is normal. We've been told that being on the spectrum is normal. Now, I'm not saying by using the word normal, that's not being derogatory about people that are at all. It's just that if we are told that we haven't got a choice, that can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. And what's really, really important is to realize that when you open up choices for people and they still have free will, you know, at the moment, people haven't been able to exercise their free will because so many of these solutions have been hidden from them. You and I, whether it's the RE, whether it's the Asea, we can't talk openly on this platform. We're not allowed to use the word healing. We're not allowed to talk about specific conditions. It's ridiculous. And there's a reason for that. And everyone knows what's happened over the last few years with so many amazing healing solutions being hidden from people. And we all know, I don't need to tell anyone who's watching this why. So to actually start using, you know, every tool in itself can be used for good or evil. We're using YouTube as a channel now, and it's really good because it allows us to spread the message. Okay, we might be doing it with one hand and normally two hands right behind our back, but we're using it for good. It's not the tool that's inherently evil. It's the way that it's controlled or who's controlling it. So you've had some, let's talk in a little bit more detail about the RE, because I'm really intrigued by this, because you've had some amazing results that you've shared with me. And one of the things, I've got a lot of friends that I know who've got children on the spectrum and themselves, you know, a lot of friends who themselves were on the spectrum. And opening up safe choices for them has always been really challenging because that's not what they've been told by the mainstream. So talk us through some of the, in the YouTube friendly ways, you know, some of the results that you're experiencing.
Yeah, so I just wanted to emphasize that it's a two-part process, and we'll just go onto the site shortly. But there's the RE detox support, which is a mixture of different herbs, botanical herbs, in an oil that you can put either through the navel or on the sole of the feet. With young children, we're finding that they have to use quite a small amount because it's very potent and very strong. So I had a friend that I sent it to, and I've got yours here. We were supposed to meet a few weeks ago, and you try it. But I sent it to another friend, and the very next day she sent me a message on Instagram, and she goes, "What have you sent me?" I said, "Oh my God, why?" She said, "I was up in the loo all night, and you've given me a flat stomach." I mean, I can't say I'm complaining, but she goes, "I consider myself to be really, really healthy," and she's a health junkie, etc. But she's noticing all sorts of hormonal differences within the space of a week. And I can't wait to share her testimonial because this is amazing. But with children who sit on the spectrum, so you do the 12-day detox on the feet first, either through the navel or on each sole of each foot. And then you start off with the autism support, which is a different set of herbs. And then use that as long as you can. So if we just go onto the website.
Yeah. Do you want me to open up that tab you shared?
Yeah. So the website's all going to be changed very soon. This is just the Alpa Techno Tard site, which
I'll try with that.
So I've got two testimonials. Let's start off with this one, if that's okay. Here we go.
He got diagnosed with moderately on the spectrum at age 2. He kind of went backwards and stopped making eye contact with me. And I did take him to a neurologist, and he got his diagnosis. And and we, the doctors don't like to give any medications until age 5. So we've been looking with, for other means. And we like to go the holistic route. And my dad actually found Ari, and he actually purchased it as a gift for us. And yes, he did. And once we, Colton was actually nonverbal. Even back in December, he probably had maybe 15 words that would just kind of popcorn in. We've been using Ari every day. We did the detox program and the support program now. And he probably has about 150 words. So it's been a huge thing and source of, right now he's tired, but it's been a source of relief where he's actually prompting back and forth to us and asking and requesting things that we didn't think that he could do. Do you want me to talk a little bit about the detox experience?
Yeah, that was my next question. So, thank you for sharing that, Erica. I really appreciate it. But it wasn't an easy start for you with the detox. So, because this is really important for people who haven't even got autism and start using the detox. It's variable, their symptoms and how they will feel. But yeah, share with us what it was like for you. It wasn't as easy.
No, so I will tell you that even myself, if I've drank detox tea or anything, you feel a little funny, a little nauseous, and a little, stomach's upset, maybe a little lightheaded. I did not know what to expect with Colton. He did scream almost like violently for about 2 days. His head hurt. He was grabbing his head. He was clearing out bowel movements left and right. And it was almost amazing to me. But within 72 hours, it was completely gone. All of the junk came out and we kept going with the treatment. And I did have my dad reach out to Don just to see if he had experiences with this. And he just said, listen, hang in there. It's only 12 days. And it was hard. It was hard at first. He had trouble sleeping. But again, after that first 72 hours, which everybody is different, he just got clearer and brighter. And, other than when he's tired, words just explode now. And then we started the support. I do it in his belly button, the support.
Nice. Yeah.
The detox, I had to do in his feet. So we tried it both ways, and it was still it's remarkable, actually, to hear my son talk. And he asked me for a hug, told me he loved me, things I never thought I would hear from him. So I was never sure. So it's been,
and this is 6 weeks, right? About 5 to 6 weeks.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're going to continue, obviously, the autism support. So that was the, sorry, let me just go back. So yeah, that, if you just want to take that off for a second, I just wanted to talk to you about that, and then I'll show you the next one. So that the one that with Erica was one of our really good testimonials, because it's a testament to show that parents who may use it and then get scared off with the detox symptoms. I've had a few people that have written in and say, oh my God, he's been up all night vomiting, etc. But Erica is a true testament for a mother who perseveres, and she understands what detoxing can look like, or what they call it in the medical world, the Alzheimer's reaction. And with children that sit on the spectrum, we don't know how toxic they are. And it's variable with everyone. So everyone's going to have a different reaction. So this friend of mine who's 45, who considers herself to be really, really healthy, does everything, doesn't eat, washes her food in soda bicarbonate, and she eats fruits and veggies and works out all the time, has organic everything. She was very surprised to see the reaction after doing the detox just in the first day. Then I have people who say they don't feel anything. The reason why I'm explaining all of this is all of us are different in our levels of toxicity. We don't know. And this is a very gentle approach, but quite effective. So the detox is, again, I reinforce that everyone can use it. And then when you go on to the autism support, she started seeing the change neurologically with him, and also with his level of connecting with her as the mother, which was really beautiful for me to hear, because he was making eye contact, and the teachers were saying, what's with Carlton? Like, he's hugging people, he's expressing his emotions. So having studied the subject of autism, no one shoe fits all. There's variables in how they behave, but there is definitely a notable difference with their levels of emotions and how they regulate their emotions. So to hear that testimonial from a 4-year-old, the mother of a 4-year-old kid, was just really beautiful and empowering, because you want to see your child being able to relate, to connect, and have these moments of connection. And when I spoke to her on the phone, she goes, "My son told me I love you for the first time." And these are the things, Catherine, I mean, I don't want to get teary, but these are the things that make me forget all the challenges in this movement, and to persevere. And in trying to introduce Ari in the market, since we did, it's been tough. But what also was beautiful was the testimonial from the father of an 18-year-old, his 18-year-old son. So the reason why we've put those two there, I've got so many more that I need to put up, but those two are key, because here we have a 4-year-old kid, and then the father of an 18-year-old guy, and they're just two worlds apart. But the impact that the autism support has had on both has just been phenomenal to hear.
And I just, before you show that other one, I just want to second that, because I work a lot with animals and animal health, and I'm just completely blown away that, you know, I think I'm seeing some lovely comments, Amber and Mary and everyone in the comments. Thank you so much. We are looking through your comments, and these challenges that people are faced with and are misdiagnosed with. The one thing I just want to say to people, it's never too late, whether it's yourself or whether it's your animal, because I get so many people with, you know, that you're dealing with children a lot of the time here, Alpa, and but with animals as well, and with adults as well, the differences that you can see when we get these toxins that we're just not aware of, because the longer we go on with these issues, those are our loved ones, the more we think that's the norm. And then when you see how good you can feel when you start to get your body connecting back properly. I mean, I'm so excited to see how it's going to work for these children once you start combining the Ari with the Asea as well, because the Asea is going to heal them at a cellular level and work hand in hand with it. But show us this other testimonial as well.
Yes, before I do that, and I have to thank you for this, and April and the whole Asea team, because Asea was introduced to me not from anybody, but in April, funnily enough, April last year. And I was on a Telegram chat, and I just read this post saying, "Oh, this is a spiritually advanced product." And I looked into it, and intuitively something happened to me, Catherine. And then, as usual, Alpa style, gets caught up in the whole energetics of life. I didn't follow it through. And then it came through to me again, and I didn't follow it through. It was only because of you that I listened, because I trust you, and, you know, I have so much love and respect. You're such an inspiration to me, Catherine, in so many ways, that I just thought, no, God is telling me something here, because I'm very intuitive about, you know, how I lead myself. And most of the time we're taught not to trust our intuition. And that's probably what's got me into trouble a lot of the times, for not trusting self. So I wanted to actually say something about that before we go into the next testimonial. I've been using Asea now for, I think it was in August, you told me about it, but I didn't really use it properly. And then it was around the beginning of December when things really got very arduous for me in my personal life, with my father being diagnosed with cancer, and the pressure that came with all of that, the family stuff, just everything. And I was really, really stressed. So I'd started taking this in December. You know, fast forward to mid-February, where things were just getting really chaotic. I wasn't even eating properly. I wasn't doing the things that I should be. I was just going with whatever. I truly believe that getting a good night's sleep, not having any kind of reactions, is because of Asea, because Asea exacerbated the detox for me for Ari. So I do Ari detox once a month, 12 days on, rest, in the start of every month. I'm in that cycle. But then I wasn't doing Ari. And I'd finished my roots as well. So the Asea, the 0 in, and then the Ari, oh my God, what a combination. And it helps to be, for me, for example, today I was hit with this thing with my YouTube, and I was just like, oh, well, I was laughing about it. And before I would have been a little bit stressed, the way I was dealing with a lot of other stress, it just helps you keep mentally and physically the aches and pains, they're slowly dissipating. So I have to say thank you for getting me on it, because now I'm doing it 6 times a day. So 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and 2 in the before I go to bed. So I'm kind of doing a bit more than the magic 8. And it's wonderful.
Absolutely. That's a great thing, is when you've got these tools in your toolkit. And you know, I've got a lot of friends who've got children on the spectrum, and it's incredibly challenging for them, you know, because everyone loves their children so much, and when you can't communicate in a way, you don't know how to help them in a way. So I think these products are so important, because you know, our children have got enough to go through with what they're growing up with at the moment anyway, and we all know that things are moving forward and getting a lot better for them. But actually, anything that we can do to ease that journey is so important, and it's just so wonderful to see. Should we see the other testimonial? Because I've seen this and I adore this one.
Yes.
So my name's Tim, and I have an 18-year-old son with autism, and he's a great kid. He's really shy. Some of the things that the tendencies that he has, and with a lot of autistic children, is he wants to be by himself. He chooses not to have friends. He doesn't really want to play games or do a lot of stuff with other people. He's got a younger brother who's 17 and a younger sister that is 14 years old. And over the last 18 years, we've you know there's something that's not quite right with him. He just seems to be in his shell, and he's quiet and on his own. But I've got a buddy that I work with that suggested that I try an oil for his feet. And I'm not into that witchcrafts, you know, this stuff is going to be great. It's awesome stuff. But he told me that he can't guarantee that it works, but he's seen it work before, and why not give it a shot? So I asked my son, I said, would you be willing to put this oil on your feet? And it's every day, just, you know, a few drops every day. And he said he would try it, because he knows that he has autism. He knows that he's just a little different than his brother and sister and the people he goes to school with. So he said, yeah, he would try it. So it's kind of a 2-part thing. The first oil you put on your feet for about 10 days it's a detox, and he did that religiously every day for 10 days. And then he started doing the autism, I think it's called autism support, but he used that on his feet for maybe a month straight. And for something that we weren't sure was going to work, it didn't take long to see that the little changes in him, the way he talked, he pronounces his words more clearly. One of the biggest things that we noticed was, for a kid who doesn't talk to people and doesn't make friends, his mom told him, you're a senior this year, you're going to go to the prom. And he just simply said no, he wasn't going. And she made the threat that if you don't find somebody to go to the prom with, you're going to take me. No kid, autistic or not, wants to go to the prom with their mom. So he made an arrangement with his brother that they would go on a double date together. And the brother brought a friend with him. So there were 6 people. Somewhere during the prom, his brother and friend went out of the room. When they came back, my oldest boy was dancing. with all three girls. And that's not something that he would do. So, sorry. So, you know, we ask, my wife and I, we both noticed a difference. And we asked my daughter, have you ever noticed anything? You noticed anything different? And she just right away, absolutely. She says she likes the way he talks back. He's getting kind of mouthy, which in most families, you know, that's not what you want, but he's a teenager, you know, he's going to be kind of mouthy. Does he need more oil? And this is kind of a positive negative thing. And he told me, he says, yeah, I need more. And I noticed that the bottle of oil on his dresser was still just a little bit, a little more than half full. And I asked him, are you using this oil, or did you mix them up and use the other one instead? And he said, no, I wasn't using it. And the good part is he's only used a little less than half of this little bottle, and everybody noticed the change. This is a good thing. It's good for him. Maybe it will work for somebody else, and why not try it? It's natural. It's not drugs. He's not being shot up with any syringes or anything like that. It's a simple, easy thing to do. And I say, if it works for my kid, it might work for somebody else's kid. Give it a shot. You have nothing to lose. Just give it a shot. That's all I'm saying.
Wow. You're muted, Alpa.
Sorry, I was coughing away. I didn't want people to hear me. That was one of our really powerful testimonials. So you've seen it from a 4-year-old, mother of a 4-year-old, the father of an 18-year-old. And I've got lots of voice notes. You can see it on the website. Right now, it's still a very basic site, and we're just revamping it, adding new products to the RootBrand topical range. Again, it's all going to be topical products right now because I don't want to get so concerned with the licenses that you need for oral supplements, but there are a lot of things that are happening with the RootBrand range, and that's what I've been working on behind the scenes. And it's just with the intention to have people like this experience change. And even if it is a small change, I mean, he got teary, but for me, that's like, great. This is what we're doing at the other side of this, that my obsession with the subject of autism, because of my nephew, has led me to start a business after him. And it also took me on a journey, Catherine, where I realized I sit on the spectrum too, with possible ADHD or Asperger's. When I started researching the subject, like really intensely, I identified as being Asperger's. No, I identified with so many of the things that I learned, especially the anxiety and how you feel that you don't fit in, how you feel totally alienated from situations, and it just becomes overwhelming, like you were saying earlier on, how overwhelming things can be in these challenges. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing in this movement. What have I done? Have I made a mistake? But no, it took me to this path that I am in now. So hearing reviews like this is just what it warms my heart.
Yeah, I just absolutely love it. And Harry's right. You know, most people seek the pain relief through things like drugs, beer, games, you know, any sort of escapism. But, you know, we're entering a different time now. None of these solutions, this is all ancient wisdom that has been brought back. With, you know, with the Ari, I mean, I'm a herbalist as well. I've been working with herbs for years. That's just absolutely amazing that it really is all in nature's garden. And, you know, with things like the Asea, we're just putting back what should be in the body anyway. And we're just adding to that so that we can get these connections. Once you get the physical connections, the emotional connections, and and getting rid of all those toxins that are blocking us working properly, because all our bodies are just so beautifully designed, so is everything in nature. But when there's all these blockages, these restrictions everywhere caused by all these toxins and the stresses which are coming from us everywhere, it's really, really difficult to function to your full potential. So these solutions and the people that are pushing through regardless of what happens. And, you know, I had a really good friend who's been having amazing results with the Asea. And she messaged me today, and she was trying to share it with some people that have got some serious health challenges. And they were bringing up sort of completely full stories about the origins and who the owner works for and who owns the company and things. And this is where I really feel with the Great Awakening is it's so many different areas that it covers for us all. And it's for me, Alpa, it's a realization that we can't behave in the same way and expect to get the different results. And that change has to start with each and one of us as individuals. And like you, when you're so passionate about something and you just want to help, we don't give up that easily.
100%. This is the thing that we need to cultivate in this movement, is that human behavior. We wish well for our brothers and sisters. We should do, not begrudge somebody for doing something well, because what makes us different from that old energy that we're trying to elevate from. And I say this all the time. Even before I started Ari, I was observing things that I just felt it really made me feel uncomfortable. You know, this naivety where I thought, oh my God, we're all going to be hand in hand, brothers and sisters fighting the good fight. Mm-hmm. And then we learn so many different things, and it has its twists and turns. That's okay. It's teaching us something all the time, how to cultivate best practice for self first, learn to love ourselves more than anything. It's great to go out there and help people, but not at the expense where you're being depleted yourself. I'm guilty of that. We weren't taught how to love ourselves in what I call the depths of the Kali Yuga. We were really taught to outsource our thinking and be codependent on the outside. So we have this narcissistic empathic paradigm that has just permeated energetically in our collective consciousness. So a lot of people that I have felt sat on the spectrum are just beautiful empaths. And we all have been hit with something. So our brain chemistry has been working in different ways how it shouldn't. But solutions are always there if we have the eyes to see it, to have the realize, to see it. And we can drown in self-pity or sorrow, or we can do something about it, give ourselves that time and make that difference. Like what we were saying in that show with Mel K, we the people need to take our power back and do what we can. Not get so disturbed by I'm not doing as well as this person or this competitive streak. We all have a unique gift within ourselves to be able to offer something. So even in your local communities, if you're doing something which is helping your neighbors, building these communities where you're going and supporting local farmers rather than buying from these big supermarkets. There's so many things that we are doing, because this fight hasn't finished. We're in the thick of it right now. And this month, March, I kid you not, Catherine, I woke up this morning and I thought, wow, this energetically, I feel that a lot is changing in this month. We've got planetary influences, which are very, very powerful and energetically. And I implore everybody to keep their vibrations high this month, no matter what gets thrown at you. And it's the lightest of light that get thrown, sometimes the darkest of dark, because they can handle it. We chose this script. We chose to be warriors in this movement and doing our thing, shining our light, finding our own way, knowing our own truth. So with people like yourself in this journey who has done tremendous stuff, you're an inspiration to me. I look up to you because I've been on the phone with you many times when I've wanted to give up, and everyone that's listening, I've wanted to give up. Sorry. I've wanted to give up, but then I have good people and angels that come and remind me not to, you know, and it is, sorry, getting a bit choked here, but we've got to continue, and we've got to carry on doing what we're doing in the most exuberant way with a kindred spirit and being wise.
I completely agree. I just think, you know, we are on the cusp. Everyone knows, everyone who's watching this, they can feel the energy. We know we're entering a new age, and you know, it can be a bumpy ride when you're doing it. I mean, we've all had a bumpy ride just even getting in through the birthing process to this world. And what you don't do is we don't give up when we're this close to the thing. And you know, I think I'm absolutely loving this mergence now between the ancient wisdom that so many people have known for so long, and so many animals. I mean, animals are the best at self-medicating. Something I work with a lot, and we're now merging. We're not throwing away this old wisdom. That's why there's such a resurgence in it. But what we're doing is we're combining it with the times we face now and getting the best of the situation to suit what we need now. Because everyone's going through different challenges at different times, and giving people these options is so important. And I really hope anyone who's watching you is drawn to support you, because you know, it does take a lot of money to get this stuff to market. It does take money to launch new websites. You know, I've just been redoing all mine because we want to try and share the knowledge in the best way we can, while still at the moment staying legally compliant, which is a very fine balancing act. So tell us, how do people find? So Andrea, if Andrea's watching, if you get a chance to put Alpa's link tree in the comments, we'd really appreciate it, and the link is below the video. So you've got a really good link tree, haven't you, Alpa?
Yes, instead of giving you hundreds of links, there is the all of my links to the RE website, to the video that you just saw. Actually, just come to think of it, with my YouTube, that's been taken down, one of those links. It's just the video that you saw, so you can see it on the website. But it's got my Asea, how to join Asea, if anyone's interested with that. The RE website, my new YouTube channel. Well, it was my backup. Luckily, I had that, so I've reinstated that one. So people can find me on that. But yeah, and then they can order directly. And also, I forgot to say, I'm giving Catherine's viewers 15% off today. Yeah, so if you go, and on the coupon code is 15% off, and it's just Catherine in capital letters and 15. So Catherine 15. So I forgot to say that in my emotional outburst. So that's to viewers, and that will be permanently there for anyone that supports Catherine. Will be through her site. You can use that. I mean, of course, it's one use per customer, but and I'd love for people to try it and invite them on my show and give, you know, share their experiences. I had a great show with a lady called Janine that I met in the TT tour in Anaheim, and somebody just came and pounced me and they said, "Alpa Soni," and then she just gave me a big hug. And I actually forgot to put that up about her daughter. It's just, she's got a bottle of Ari, and she's done me a testimonial, and she just hugged me from behind, and she goes, "You've changed my daughter's life." And I'm just looking around going, who? Me? And I forgot that it would have been to do with Ari. And I went, oh, and then she burst into tears and she said, "Oh, we've been using it. I got my dad to use it. He's been, you know what, and he noticed a difference using it." So that's for the detox. Anybody can use the detox for 12 days. Some people are saying they use it for a full month on, and 1 month on, 1 month off. They just love it. They feel fresh. They feel clear. And somebody said that they've just bought this as well. They want to see how they work in combination. So I'd love to hit. What I want right now is, if anyone's sort of struggling, whatever, that's why I've given the 15% off. These herbs are really expensive to source. Really, really expensive. So for me, I'd rather just give a discount for people to try an honest feedback, because this is what I want to do to help a lifelong, what it feels like a lifelong passion of mine, to help the autistic community in the name of my nephew.
Yeah, I just think that's absolutely fantastic. I really encourage people to reach out, you know, with a lot of the solutions that I've had for animals and humans. You know, I've gifted products to people. I mean, I've gifted so many people the Asea because, you know, people are fed up of hearing about miracle cures, that, you know, they've been there, done that. Yeah, because when you've experienced something yourself, you want other people to experience it. And I understand the skepticism, because there are a lot of fake products out there on the market. And I understand that people have had, for all sorts of reasons, had their hopes raised and dashed and rose and dashed. But, you know, we're never going to give up, because we know how much, you know, you can't, if you're physically not feeling good and you don't even realize how good you can feel, you can't make good decisions for your life. The two go hand in hand. So this is why, you know, anyone who's watching this today, and thank you so much for your participation. There's a lot of familiar faces that I recognize. We really appreciate you all, because you guys, these are the people that I see, the same names that have been with us from the start, Alpa. And these are the people.
I know, the health junkie, Linda, Harry, he was always on my show. So on my link tree, Harry, if you've wondered why I've disappeared, you know why now. Please just help and support me build that channel, because the reason why I say it's not from any egotistical plane where I was like, yeah, I've got numbers. My numbers were stuck at, I think it was 32, whatever, for 2 years. That wasn't what it was about. But for me, it was a platform to get Ari out. And now that I'm finally getting into the thick of this launching this company, because this last 6 months has just been an organic launch, just talking about it, but my platform would have provided me that audience to gain awareness. And I'm now looking for influencers and doing all of that to build this company, so that it's in purpose to help. And that's the only thing. So it's all a part of our journey. So I just ask if you could support me and help me build my channel so that I can keep talking about the good things like Ari.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it is a lot of work, a lot of expense. Alice and I absolutely love that. Been using the Asea and the Renu 28 for 12 years.
Oh, the Renu.
The real results, no menopause bullshit, and healthy libido. Love it. Now, I just wanted to answer Rosalie's question. Why suddenly, if every one of the troopers promoting Asea? Well, first and foremost, it's not suddenly. So what happens with a lot of us when we're good friends? So a lot of us are very, very good friends off screen. Now, for the Asea, for example, I've been working with all sorts of herbal solutions and natural solutions for over 25 years, because that is my day job, helping humans and animals heal themselves laterally. And I can understand why it seems like that, Rosalie. But what happens is, for example, when you then, a lot of people will start talking about it when they've taken the time to try it themselves. So Alpa has started talking about it. I gifted Alpa some because I knew how good it was. And then Alpa did exactly what I did. She didn't start talking about it until she'd started to experience the benefits herself, because we don't want to start talking about things that we haven't seen the benefits ourselves. So a lot of
that, if you don't mind, sorry, Catherine, sorry to interrupt you in your flow there, but I just wanted to reinforce what you said, that is so important, because I didn't try it in April, and I didn't promote it, and even though I heard all these good things about it, I encourage everyone just to try it, because, and you don't see it overnight. It was in the second month, but trust me, right now, it's been living hell, and I've upped my game on it, and it's really working. But if you're thinking I'm going to have a sip and this is not doing anything, that's a mental kind of block there. You have to give it a chance. Sorry, Catherine.
Because the thing is, the way the body heals itself, we've got so brainwashed into thinking that you take a pill and that happens. But what happens when you take that pill, or you take that drink, or you take that drug, is it's just masking. It's not dealing with the root cause of the issue. So when people are saying, it's because a lot of us are friends off screen. So, you know, Bryce is now talking about it because she's one of my best friends. Alpa and I are best friends. You know, a lot of us share things when we see it works for us. And quite frankly, you know, I need all the help I've got at the moment, because I am working very, very long days, not looking for sympathy. It's completely my, you know, choice. But, you know, my day starts at 5 o'clock in the morning and ends, if I'm lucky, by midnight, because of all the things I choose to have in my life, which is great. But therefore, I need some extra help with my health and wellness and energy levels. to sustain, to be able to do all the things that I really want to do at the moment, because the time is now. So I do get that sentiment that's why I see, you know, the skepticism. But what I would say is, you can tell, I think, you know, that's the whole point about this journey of intuition. You can tell when someone's genuinely sharing something because they're passionate about it and using themselves, is very different to if they're sharing something just to make money. But then a lot of people do jobs just to make money as well. So, you know,
I want to say hi to Manifesting Maren. How are you, sweetheart? She's such a lovely lady. I ask everyone to follow her as well. She's such a bubbly lady. We kind of cross paths on Instagram, and I share all her posts, and she's really, really positive. Yeah, Apla. I like that. My grandfather used to call me that.
Yeah, lovely. But no, really appreciate you all. And, you know, we are on this journey together. And when it comes to sharing products, absolutely, you know, this is our part of the work that we do. So as a health practitioner, there's no point me advising people if I can't recommend what they can take to do about it. And therefore, I really love the fact that there's these companies out there that are really providing solutions to people when never have we needed it more, because most of us, unfortunately, are not in the state where we can go out and forage for these things ourselves and get away from all the stresses and pollutions. So therefore, it's lovely to have these things that can sort it, you know, that can literally help us in our journeys. And, you know, it's like everyone, it's all personal choice. What we do and what we're hoping for is a world where people have got choices
and kinder to each other.
Yeah. Any final points before we disappear off the day? We really appreciate all of you who've joined us. Are there any final questions from anyone in the audience?
It's been really good. I just wanted to say one last thing about the Renew. I use that probably about 5 times a day, and it's this reaction that I was coming out with underneath my eyes, and that's all through stress. We can't underestimate the impact of stress and inside emotions. So, you know, you can do all the right things, take all the vitamins, but if you're not managing your stress levels, we really have to stress that you have to see what's going on with you at an energetic level all the time. You're kind of checking in with yourself, checking in with your emotions. And I started getting a little bit of this reaction that I was getting in October last year before I started taking Asea, when I looked like a frog, when I was getting, you know, you've seen the pictures, Catherine, right? What was happening to me behind closed doors.
No.
But Renew, this morning, Renew was just, Renew gel has been amazing. And my mum has melasma around here. She's been using it. It's almost disappeared. So I just want to say that, you know, you mentioned the Renew. I didn't actually even talk about that. This is the thing. Just forget, like, I'm just in my own merry lane. But everyone, keep your spirits up. Carry on, you know, keeping your vibrations high, and trust God with everything that you're doing. That's my kind of final message for everyone. Just keep faith in the Almighty.
Absolutely. I agree with that. And, you know, go cuddle an animal. It works every time. You know, when we're educating ourselves, we're making the world a better place for every living being on there, whether it's a plant, whether it's furry, preferably with a tail. Then, you know, you've got we're lucky, we've got lots of choices out there. So the more we tune in with ourselves, the more we'll choose wisely. Thank you so much for everyone. It's been really lovely to have you join. You know, tune in with yourselves. Have a wonderful weekend. We really appreciate you being here. And as always, all the links are below the video. Thanks a lot, Alpa.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.